Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Scout YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing Groups A and B for the upcoming Club World Cup tournament. We're going to be looking at sort of the best picks for World Club Cup Fantasy, and we're also just going to be predicting the group as well, see who I think is going to win the groups, and you'll get the idea. We're basically going to be talking through Groups A and B. But we'll start, before we get into that, of course, if you could help the channel by dropping a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It massively helps the channel. It boosts us in the algorithm, get to other audiences who potentially would also be interested in Club World Cup Fantasy. So if you could do all that, that would be a massive help to the channel. But yeah, let's get into the video and let's start with Group A. Let's get it up now. So Group A consists of Palmeiras, Porto, Al Ahly, and Inter Miami. And I'm going to just start off saying I think Porto are going to win the group. So let's put them in. I do think they will win the group. They qualified due to having a strong coefficient UEFA coefficient between 2021 and 2024, which was obviously good for them. And I think from all accounts, from the Porto end, they are going to take this tournament really seriously because obviously they don't quite get the money that other domestic leagues in Europe do. The likes of the Premier League, we know, gets a massive pay packet from every year. So because of that, obviously Porto, with the money that's in the Club World Cup, you would expect us to take this tournament really seriously. In terms of picks for Porto, there's some really good ones, some really good budget options. And then it all starts in defence with Francisco Moura, who's racked up 4 goals and 11 assists as a defender this year. And he's only down at 4.1 million as well. He is currently in my draft, as all of these Porto picks I'm going to name are. So I think he makes a really good option. He plays sort of the left wing back for Porto. Second, obviously, is going to be Rodrigo Moura, who sort of plays on the left-hand side of midfield for Porto. Again, 4.2 million, so really budget midfield player. And he's also racked up 10 goals and 4 assists so far this season. So another, for me, a really good Porto cheap option if you do want to get the premium assets of the sort of Palmers of the world in there, Elises, etc. You are going to need these budget picks to sort of maintain that. And I think the Porto players are really good options for that. And the final one, of course, is Samu up top. The Spanish striker's got, I believe he's got 19 goals and 3 assists in 30 games in the Portuguese league this year. So a really fantastic season for him. And he's only 4.2 million in fantasy as well. Now, second in the group. Now, this is where it gets a bit more interesting in Group A for me, because a lot of people will obviously go into Miami. However, they've struggled this season. They currently sit in 6th in the MLS. So instead, I'm going to go with Palmeiras. I think they will come second in the group. Palmeiras qualified actually for this tournament due to winning the Copa Libertadores in 2021. So that was their way into the tournament. And they do currently sit top of the Brazilian league. And playing 10 matches this season, they've won 7, drawn 2, and lost 1. So they're not doing too badly, actually. In terms of picks, I think if you want to look at the defence, you could probably look no further than the goalkeeper. W. Everton, I'm going to call him. We should just call him Everton. He's 4.9 million. So I think he could be a potentially really good pick for sort of the more medium price goalkeeper. But if you are looking for the defensive coverage, I think Joaquin Piqueres is probably the pick of the bunch. He currently takes quite a few of the set pieces. He sometimes takes penalties as well. And he also plays left back for them. He is 5.1 million. So he could be a really good option, especially if they end up doing as well in the group as I predict they will. And the final one, of course, is the new Chelsea player who's not quite at Chelsea yet. And that is, of course, Estavo. I believe that's how you say it. Estiavo, something like that. Anyway, he's currently he's 5.5 million in World Cup Fantasy, and he's also registered 5 goals and 4 assists for Palmeiras so far in their first 10 games. So what's that? 9 goal contributions in his first 10. You can't really moan at that. I think he, again, could be a really strong option. In third in the group, I am going to go with Inter Miami. That they'll obviously make up my third slot. I think they will beat Al Ahly. But I don't think they're going to be quite as strong as people make out. I think there's quite a lot of options for Inter Miami, who of course we've heard of, the likes of Lionel Messi at 10.5 million. Now he looks okay. I mean, he looks okay. He's got 10 goals this season. Obviously, we know all about Lionel Messi, but it's not in terms of Inter Miami as a team. As I said, they currently sit 6th in the MLS this season. So they've not been fantastic. I think they've won 2, drawn 2, and lost 2. So it's not been an absolutely brilliant season from Inter Miami so far. There's obviously like Suarez as well at 8 million. Again, he hasn't really contributed that massively in terms of sort of a goals and assists. He seems to drop in more and allow the goals and assists to come from Lionel Messi, of course, who obviously runs on to sort of a lot of it. With Messi getting the 15 goal contributions that he has. But yeah, they also got in due to sort of they got in because of part of it being the host nation, and also they got in due to having the best season in the regular season. I'm not sure what that fully means, but that is the reason they're in. And of course, the final option, another one that we've all heard of, an ex-Barcelona player, and that is Jordi Alba, who still bombs up and down that left-hand side, like we remember for Barca all them years ago. So yeah, that's Inter. I mean, in terms of Al Ali, if you had to go anywhere, I probably wouldn't go for loads of their picks naturally. But in terms of them as well, they got in due to winning their Champions League. So that was the way they got in. But I think the best pick probably is, and this guy's been talked about quite a bit so far, and that's of course Mohamed Hani at 4.3 million. He does. I think he's got something like a goal and assist in 5 games in his last 5 games playing in defence. So he's probably the pick of the bunch if you want to go with an Al Ali pick. Personally, I probably don't. But yeah, Mohamed Hani with a goal and assist in his last 5 for a defender looks pretty strong to me. Now, moving on to Group 2 then, or Group B, should I say. Obviously, I think there's a standout team that I think are going to win it here, and that is, of course, PSG. I do think PSG will win Group B. Obviously, just come off winning the Champions League as well, so I think their picks are going to be really strong. In terms of the picks I like, I think Ousmane Dembele is probably the one. 10 million he's going to cost. He's the most expensive midfielder, but I do think it's worth it. He's got 29 goals and 12 assists in all competitions this season, so an absolutely outrageous output season from Ousmane Dembele. I think he is probably the one to go for. If you're not going to go with him, though, and you want potentially defender, I do obviously quite like Hakimi. I really like Hakimi, actually. 6.5 million. So again, at the higher echelon of the defenders, but he has got 20 goal. I think he's got over 20 goals and assists this year. So GA this year. So again, a ridiculous season for a defender, but he does come at a price point of 6.5 million, of course. If you want to go a bit less, you could go for Nuno Mendes as well, who obviously chips in with a lot of goals and assists. And if you want to go really budget, there's Pacho as well. Who is only 5.2 million. So if you want to get into that PSG defense, obviously you're not going to get goals and assists or many from Pacho, but he will get to get into the bit of the PSG coverage. Obviously, Pacho 5.2 million doesn't look too bad. Of course, second in the group, again, probably a boring pick again, but I will go with Atletico Madrid. I think they will obviously come second in the group. They're obviously really strong defensively. Usually, I think they've got 3 clean sheets in the last 6 games. And obviously the likes of but the one thing about Atletico that we always need to mention is they don't do much rotation, which is always good in terms of Simeone likes to pick a sort of similar team each week. But the picks to go with probably in defence, I would go with Oblak, who is 5.5 million if you want a goalkeeper, or you could go with Jimenez at 5.2 million. But obviously bear in mind that PSG play against Atletico in the first game. So do you really want to go there? Especially after that in that first game week. So yeah, I would avoid probably Atletico players for the first game week, but I do think long term they're pretty good. And the final one, of course, is Julian Alvarez. I think would he cost like 90 million last summer, but he's come in and made a fantastic impact. He's got 17 goals and 4 assists this year in La Liga, so a ridiculous return from Julian Alvarez. And we saw that goal obviously scored against Real Madrid in the Champions League as well when he cut inside and bent it into the far corner. He's a wonderful footballer and obviously a good pick as well. He's 9 million. So you've got Oblak at 5.5, Jimenez at 5.2, and Alvarez at 9 million. In terms of third in the group, I'm going to go for Botafogo. They got in through a coefficient again, obviously for performing well between 2021 and 2024. And there's 2 main picks that I've picked out from Botafogo. Again, not loads in terms of picks because I don't think they'll be one of the more competitive teams in the competition. But they've got a defender at 4 million called Cuchabano, who currently is 4 million, and he's got 2 goals in his last 5 games. And he's only £4 million. So if obviously he gets a goal, he could be a really good budget option at the 4 million price point. They've also got a player that I'm sure a lot of us will know, which is Alex Telles, of course, of Manchester United. He takes set pieces, all set pieces, and he also sometimes takes penalties as well. I think he scored 2 penalties as well. So someone, if you want, he's more expensive though. He's at 5.1 million. So I don't think I'd be going for him at 5.1 million. But Q Cabano at 4 million, with, as I said, with 2 goals in his last 5, potentially could be a pick there. So he makes up the final pick that I would go for Botafogo as well. There's also David Ricardo as well at 4.1 million if you want to go there. And the final team in the group is, of course, Seattle Sounders. Now, they won the CONCACAF Champions League in 2022, which is why they're in the competition. There's only one real asset I think I like from Seattle Sounders if you had to go there, and that's the Czech midfielder Albert Rusnak. Rusnak. 5.4 million. I think he could be a really sort of decent option. The best thing about Rusnak is that he takes all set pieces. He takes penalties as well. And so far this season, he has got 7 goals and 3 assists. But obviously, as I said, I probably won't be going for too many Seattle Sounders picks. But if you did want a sort of really tidy differential, because we know differentials, anything under 5%, and they do get obviously the extra bonus points. So if Rusnak does pop off with a few contributions, then he could be a decent pick. But he's the one, I think, Albert Rusnak at 5.4 million for Seattle Sounders. And that wraps up the video. So they're my Group A and Group B reviews. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you've got anything right, anything wrong, any other picks that I've potentially missed out in this video. But besides that, it's a goodbye from me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And as I said, if you could drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, that would be fantastic. But I'll see you all later and catch you for a Group C and Group D preview next after this as well. See you later, everyone. Bye for now.